Good morning. My name is Olga Novikova. We're in the UN, and Mr. Tarek Fateh, the Executive Director of the Balochistan House, is here with us to answer our questions. So, the Pakistani army has been fighting terrorist group under Operation Zarb-e-Azab. Why do you think that this situation committed such a humanitarian situation that it needs an intervention of international community?
Well, one of the main reasons is that under the cover of this strangely worded operation, 10,000 homes were destroyed in an area, in a population that was not involved in terrorism at all. The Pakistan military basically wanted to send a message to the Pashtuns that we can kill you whenever we wish to. If you have any dreams of Pashtun nationalism, if you have any idea of Afghan nationalism, if you have any even thought of uniting with your Pashtun borders across the Durand line created by the British, we will simply smash you. And the rest of the world, to the rest of the world, they said that we are fighting terrorists. But anyone who has lived in Pakistan or in the Pashtun areas knows that it is the Pakistan army that is the terrorist. They are the ones who have sponsored terrorism against India. They are the ones who attacked, have been host to Osama bin Laden. They are the ones who protect the Quetta Shura of the Taliban trying to undermine. The Pakistan army is the ones that is committing genocide in Balochistan, as killing people in Sindh, has the mayor of the largest city of Pakistan, Karachi, is in jail. So we who were born in Pakistan are very clear that the real terrorists are the Pakistan military and the civil military establishment that governs it. They are funded by Saudi Arabia, they are funded by China, they are funded by the United States of America, and they play all three against one another, and they always come up with the names like Zarb-e-Azab, which I can guarantee you 99% of Pakistanis don't even know what it means. And it is ironical that it actually means the wrath of the sword of Prophet Muhammad. In fact, it is an insult to Prophet Muhammad to call a military operation under his name, yet they get away with it. Nobody objects. So we've had about 10,000 homes destroyed, 8,000 civilians dead, and the million people who have become refugees within Pakistan are not allowed to enter the cities of Pakistan. They are on the outskirts. The same Pakistanis who the Pakistan military says we are trying to protect are kept away, as if they are contaminated goods, and they are living in the suburbs, and within those refugee camps are the future recruits of terrorism. So Pakistan has created another field in which they can grow and harvest jihadis who would become the future suicide bombers right across the world. So Pakistan is not a country. Pakistan is an acronym. There is no such thing as Pakistan. There never was a Pakistan, and there never will be a Pakistan. Its only objective was, and just after the Second World War, to make sure that India did not have a common border with the USSR, and now there is no need for Pakistan, so Pakistan will disappear the moment Balochistan becomes independent. And the Pashtuns of this area that Pakistan bombed will naturally join with Afghanistan, with the greater Afghanistan, which will have a border with the river Indus and will share borders with India.
Thank you. Good morning. My name is Olga Novikova. We're in the UN, and Mr. Zalang from Afghanistan, one of the victims from Pashtun area, is here with us to answer our questions. Hello, sir. What has been the impact of Zarb-e-Azab on local population?
Thank you very much for providing me the chance to speak to the world about what's been suffering, what's been happening, and what's been committed by the Pakistani army in North Waziristan, especially against Pashtuns. Since 2014, 15th of June, the Zarb-e-Azab once started. it's been a total damage, a collateral damage against the Pashtun population. Atrocities have been committed. More than 1 million people have been forcefully migrated to the surroundings. They have crossed the Diran line to go for shelter in Khost and also in Paktika. Their houses have been looted, their bazaars have been ruined, and they have been bombarded all over the region. 4,000 tribal elders have been targeted and killed. The tribal structure, especially the social structure, has been destroyed, and people are living in a dire situation of their living throughout the history.
Okay. Can you tell us, please, what kind of assistance are you looking from international communities to highlight these atrocities?
We have been living in a very bad, in a very dire situation. I think the main support that the rest of the world, especially the UN, can help us in 3 areas. First, stop the atrocities against Pashtuns, take in charge the Pakistani army of the killing of innocent people, announce Pakistan as a support terrorist state, as able of access as they were doing against the Pashtuns minority in Pakistan. Second, help us to come back to our homes, to come back to our villages, to come back to our cities, and rebuild the city and reconstruction of our cities. Third, give us the right of, as the rest of the world is having as a human rights, the right to live, the right to school, to educate, the right to have health, the right as the human rights are having in the rest of the world, and help us to get rid of the atrocities, the killing of the Pakistan army and their establishment.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much.
Good morning. My name is Olga Novikova. We're in the UN, and Mr. Jacek, the member of European Parliament, is today here with us to answer our questions. Mr. Jacek, how can European countries help in mitigating the impact of the operation?
The first, I think that we should be much more informed about the situation in Pakistan, because now for the world and for the Europe, the main topic is Syrian conflict, and we, in my opinion, we don't know so many things about what's going on in Pakistan. The second, of course, this is diplomacy. We have the High Representative for Foreign Affairs and for security. I think that this is the right channel to make a pressure for Pakistan to change the situation. And then, of course, we have also the first step, in my opinion. I think about the economic restriction, if the situation will need it.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much.
Good morning. My name is Olga Novikova. We're in the UN, and Mr. Mehran Mari, the Baloch representative to the UN and the European Union, is here with us to answer our question. Sir, what do you have to say on the human rights violations caused by the Operation Zarbi Azab?
It has caused a lot of devastation for human life in Pashtunistan. But I think the real culprit of human rights violations in Pakistan is not the operation called Zarb-e Azb, but the Pakistani military itself. Zarb-e Azb is focused towards rescuing the militants who do cause human rights violations and commit suicide bombings in Balochistan and the Pashtun areas, is to rescue them and shift them to other parts of the Middle East where the ISIS is now operating. But the Pakistan military itself is the main culprit that's causing human rights violations in Balochistan in particular, carrying out aerial bombardments, killing civilians, razing villages to the ground. A lot of this is being done to please the Chinese, who have invested, who are intending to invest $46 billion in Balochistan on the basis of CPAC, which I've already said is an illegal project. So Zarb-e Azb in itself is just a facade, but the Pakistani military and its proxies are the main culprits behind the human rights violations.
Thank you, sir. Good morning. My name is Olga Novikova. We're in the UN, and Mr. Paolo Casaca, the executive director of SADF, is here with us to answer our question. Mr. Casaca, do you think that the European Parliament should issue a statement against Operation Zar Beazab?
Good morning. I think that this operation has been very much misunderstood by the European public opinion. We are trusting the word of the military establishment on what happened there, and the testimonies that are coming from the ground tell us a completely different story from the official one. Instead of having targeted terrorists, what the military did was to decapitate the tribal structure. Hundreds of elders, tribal elders, are reported to have been killed. The population was driven out of their houses without proper means of evacuation, with very bad conditions for refugees. The terrorist leaders, none of them was there and was targeted from no faction. The Akani network is intact after this operation, the TTP as well. All the terrorist networks can continue intact and were just withdraw before the military operation took place. And I think this has to be considered by all the international institutions and of course by the European Parliament as well.
Thank you, sir.
Quite welcome.